YouTube channel.
Today I'm going to show you how to wake surf transfer. It's been a while since I've done a how-to video, but this is one of those videos I've been wanting to make because when I first got a boat which had the capability of transferring the wave from side to side, and I was attempting to transfer with my surfboard from side to side, I was looking for videos on YouTube to help me out and I couldn't really find any. So I decided I wanted to try to provide something like that. Obviously, before you can try to surf transfer, you need to have a boat which has the capability to transfer the wave from side to side pretty quickly. There's a lot of boats out there that have this capability. Obviously, Malibu has the Surfgate system, Nautique has the Nautique surf system, and then there are various other boats and or aftermarket surf systems which have this capability. So as long as you have one of those types of boats, I have a list of 6 different prerequisites or tips to help you do a wake surf transfer. I wrote them down, so I'm going to read them off my list. Number 1, make sure you are able to ride high on the wave. So this is a fairly beginner level ability or trick to be able to do, but you just want to make sure that you have the ability to carve up on top of the wave and basically ride high on the wave. And I'm going to show you a clip of that right now. So, as long as you can ride high on the wave, the next step is to learn how to surf backside or heel side. So the normal way a person would learn how to surf or wake surf is with your toes facing the wake or the wave. In order to complete a surf transfer successfully, you'll need to be able to surf on the other side. And it's going to be very awkward at first, which is probably why, if you're listening to this now and you're thinking, yep, he's right, it's probably why you're thinking that, is because you have tried it maybe once or twice, or you haven't even tried it, and you're thinking, man, that's going to be way too hard. Well, I'll tell you what, most things in wake surfing and wakeboarding feel awkward or hard at first. So you just gotta start doing it. You just gotta get over there, start wake surfing backside. It's gonna feel weird and awkward at first. You can definitely do it with the rope, just like you did when you first started wake surfing. You know, you start with the rope and you don't let go of it until you can stay in the wave and have the rope loose for probably a minute or so that you know you're comfortable enough riding backside. Number 3, the boat driver needs to know how to control the boat when the transfer occurs. Depending on the surf system you have, the boat will do some sort of shift in how it's steering or driving through the water. With Malibu, depending on the year, my 2018 doesn't do much. Literally the driver just kind of has to keep the wheel where it is and might have to touch it over a little bit to counteract it. But my 2014, you did have to actually counteract the steering because the Surfgate back at that point in time did act a little bit more like a rudder, and it would actually kind of turn you. Even on 2018, it'll do that a little, but they've actually perfected that a lot more, and now it doesn't do much as far as pulling on that side. The point is, you need to make sure your driver knows what to do and is comfortable with what happens when the transfer occurs. And you want them to, you want to make sure that they're good at that, because it does have an effect on how fast that wave on the next side cleans up, and will provide the appropriate amount of push for you when you get over there. Number 4, you yourself need to get used to the audible or visual signals that the boat will make so that you can time your transfer appropriately. It takes a little while to figure that out and make sure you hit it at the right time. For Malibu, on my 2014, there was a horn on the back of the boat that would make 3 beeps, and you would literally go just after the 3rd beep. Now that it still does, on my 2018, it still does 3 beeps, but those beeps come through the speakers and cancel out the music while they're doing that, and it is still just after that 3rd beep, and I'll show you that now. So, you need to make sure that you know exactly when to go, and you can practice that with a rope. You can have the rope and just keep cutting over, but try your best not to rely on the rope when you do that. And that takes me straight into number 5. Number 5 is practice transferring with the rope. But do your best when you're practicing with the rope to do the transfer and the surfing without relying on the rope. So the rope is there just in case you start falling out of the wave, but it's not the thing that is actually making you cut across. It's not the thing that's keeping you in the wave. Basically, you want to just have that rope there just in case you start going out of the wave. And it just makes it to where you can practice more and more, go back and forth. In fact, once you get over, you might want to transfer back and then come back over. You know, you can spend a little time on each side just getting used to things, but basically make sure you practice plenty with the rope in hand so you know when to go, and also you get used to the actual motions and feelings of the transfer. Number 6, which this is more of a tip and not required, not a prerequisite, it is easiest to do a wake surf transfer with a surf style board, which is very buoyant, and the faster the better, and then also the more fins the better on a surf transfer, because that'll help make the board track the way you turn your feet, as opposed to using the edge of the board. When you use a skim style board with not many fins or no fins, you're going to have very good edge control. If you're using a surf style board, then you can just twist your feet, kind of like this, and the fins will track you where you need to go. The first time I ever successfully transferred, it was on the most buoyant surf style board I had ever been on, and it had 5 fins. I rarely see a 5-fin board these days when it comes to wake surfing, but this board was a custom board built by one of my friends. But the 5 fins actually helped, and those fins were probably medium to large style fins. So that's just a tip, not a prerequisite. I think you'll find it easier to do your first transfer with a surf style board, and what I've found is that it is still easier for me to do it on a surf style board, but now that I know how to do it well enough, I can do it on whatever board I'm riding. It just may be harder on a skim board than a surf style board. Okay, so now that you have those 6 steps down and you are riding behind a boat that is capable of switching sides for your surf wave, let's get into some video to show you how to do it. Have it. It's as simple as that. Now get out there and do it. Obviously, I'm just joking with you. Now let's go ahead and break that video down, slow it down, and I'll give you step by step of what I'm doing and what's happening with the boat and the wave as I do the transfer. First of all, you see me hit my surf band on the left side because I ride goofy, so I ride on the starboard side as opposed to the port side. Now, that's another thing to keep in mind. When I first did a surf transfer, I did it without a surf band. So I had to signal the boat driver to tell them when I wanted to transfer. So they would hit the button on the screen, and then I would listen to the beeps and transfer. Whether or not you have a surf band or something of that type where you as a rider can control when the wave switches, it is still important, I believe, to make sure that the driver is aware that you're going to do it. And so anytime before I transfer, I either let the boat driver know before I get in the water I'm going to be doing some transfers, or I yell into the boat and I say, hey, I'm going to do a transfer. I'll point down to my wrist, the surf band, to let them know that I'm going to transfer so that they can prepare for the change in the boat. You can also see that I'm starting a little bit back in the wave so that I can work up and down the wave and get a little speed. That's not required. You can stay towards the front and just cut over. I just find it more my preference to get a little speed and then cut over. So right after the third beep, which you didn't hear in the clip, but basically I'm going right after the third beep, right as it ends, I'm going. You can see that for one, I'm cutting pretty much towards the front of the wave, which will give you a little bit more room to fall back. You can see that I'm cutting right at the front of the wave, which is right before the top of the crest there. So you kind of have a plume that comes up, and it's right before the top of that. And the reason I'm doing that is because it gives you that much more room to fall back and recover. Every once in a while you get right up ahead of it and you stay there, but a lot of times, especially when you're first trying, you're probably going to have some fallback. So you want to do it pretty close to the front, but not so close that you're going to fall down onto the platform. When you cut across, you want to point your nose basically just to the left of the back corner of the boat. So you're kind of going out as if you're going to ride out next to the port side of the boat. Another thing you notice here is that you can see that right when I'm starting to cut across, you see the surf gate actually transferred. So even if you didn't have beeps, that might be a visual signal for you. You also notice that I am not just turning my board and pointing straight out towards the opposite shore. I am just leaning in on my toes and pointing the nose of the board just past the left rear corner or port side rear corner of the boat. So you can see that even though I cut right before the top of the crest of the wave, right as I'm coming across the top, it pulls me back a little. You can actually see that I'm not right at the front of it anymore, and I'm already pulled back. And as I come down, I'm actually pulled back a little bit, and you can tell that I lean on my heels for a second, but then I flatten off so that I can ride down the wave. At this point, it's more of a feeling and just understanding that you need to keep the board pointing just past the left rear corner of the boat, and keep your board cruising down the wave. So you either need to put if you're falling back, you need to bend your front knee, and if you're going too fast forward, you need to just slightly bend your back knee. A lot like when I tell people how to surf for the first time, you want to do this in very, very subtle movements. If you do a very strong lean forward on your knee, and chances are your nose is going to dive. If you do a very strong lean on your back knee, and chances are you're going to blow out of the wave. You can actually see that in most of these video clips that I still look awkward and am still working on my backside, and I've spent a lot of time over there. But what's great about it is it then opens you up to a whole new set of tricks. So you can see that I'm working on a backside 360, and then I also work on a body varial, and basically just playing around on that side. So once you get this down, you can start having fun in different ways. Also, once you're able to successfully transfer to your opposite side or to backside, you can then generally work on transferring back, and it's not as hard to figure that out because you're transferring back over to your normal side that you're already comfortable with. The hardest part of transferring back is being able to cut over appropriately and doing it at the right time. because and usually when I cut back, I will actually more so stay put to do it as opposed to get back in the wave and then ride forward because of that. Alright, so that's it. So hopefully now you can get out there and you can start doing surf transfers. I hope my tips and video clips have helped you in some way, and hopefully you can add to your quiver of wake surfing tricks by doing a wake surf transfer. I want to thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please leave comments, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.